He might be a bit too big for his boots to come on today, but let's bring him on, Mr. Brian Daigle. How we doing, Brian? You're not too big to come on today.
I don't know, mate. Is my head fitting into the camera shot? I'm not too, mate. I tell you what. I hope you're nice and warm and toasty in your studio, because it is starting to drop here in Toronto. I am freezing, and forgot to put my jacket on when I came out. But things we do to speak to you guys and the people in the chat. How are we all doing?
Yeah, all good, my friend, apart from the game. I mean, I'm healthy. That's the main thing. We'll get into the game in a second, but if you guys don't know, Brian was mixing it with the one and only Michael McIntyre today, who was sitting and watching the game with him. Unbelievable. Any anecdotes and stories about that today?
Mate, do you know what? He was a top man. Obviously, as I was speaking to you yesterday or this morning, Ben, he was blitzing his social media yesterday. Then he reached out, or his management reached out to the club, because he's performing here, or he was here Friday, Saturday, he's performing tonight. So I blitzed the social media. You retweeted it as well for me, so thank you. And then his management reached out to the club, and he asked for a table, and he came and sat with us. As soon as he came in and heard our accents, joking about us, chilling, just having a good laugh. And then during the game was very, very vocal. And then he left shortly after it. But we're talking about it, and even he said, is there anything more Spursy than Archie Gray coming on and playing midfield and getting injured?
Yeah. So frustrating, man.
It is. But you know what? He's a top man, really friendly. And the world-famous home of Toronto Spurs, the Scotland Yard, had royalty, stand-up royalty in our presence today. So it was always going to be a good day.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Yeah, so I guess we do have to get onto the game at some point. So let's get into it. What was your initial reaction after the game?
So first of all, when Vicario got injured, a lot of people, including myself, were very, very anxious and going, oh, here we go again. And credit him. Another good performance, very good, a couple of great saves from Fraser Forster. But also, mate, Ben Davies and Dragusin were immense today. Were absolutely immense. And do you know what? They looked solid. I put a tweet out at half time saying the old guard are leading the charge for us. They were huge for us. I don't know where Davies got his shiner from. Maybe he hasn't had a domestic with Sonny. But yeah. They played well, but again, it was just lackluster, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
I mean, you look at it, Ben and Amir. Sorry, just one thing I was saying. You take the two biggest workhorses out of the game, Solanke obviously being ill and sending him home, and Kulusevski, who was rested or either having a knock and they didn't want to play him. You take the mammoth amount of work they do for the team out, and it showed today, didn't it?
100%. That's what I was saying to Amir before the game. That was my biggest worry about this game, because Solanke and Kulusevski are notoriously our biggest workers, and I think that you saw that today. We weren't able to really press high up the pitch. We weren't be able to knit any sort of play together. It was just a complete disjointed performance from top to bottom. There were a few good performers out there. I thought Pape Sarr had a good game. I thought like you said, Davis, Dragusin, Udogie, and Fraser Forster had a good game. But apart from that, I thought everyone else was poor, to be honest. And let's talk about our right-hand side, Pedro Porro, because I thought two really poor games in a row from him. It just seems so easy for any team to bypass us and attack down our right-hand side. I mean, I was calling out for Spence to come on early in that second half. I mean, why didn't Ange make that change?
Ben, Joe, I don't know, but you got to look at it now with the amount of games that are coming up. Squad rotation is what we need to do. Our squad, I mean, you could tell by that bench as well, couldn't you? That bench wasn't a few youngsters on there as well. The name of the game has got
school kids.
Exactly, Amir, bro. Exactly. You got to look at it. Squad rotation, especially in this month, where I think it's every 3 days we're playing or something around that. The squad rotation. Squad rotation has to be a part of what we do, and you can clearly see. And Porro is a great player. I love Porro, but he's a human being. He needs to be rested. or at least whether it's rested for a game or brought on, like you said, Ben, some point in the second half, because he didn't look at it. And we'll talk about Brennan Johnson as well, who's got to work better on his defensive. But thankfully, if it weren't for Brennan's goals, and remember, he only scores far post tap-ins, people. It was a very, very well taken goal. If it weren't for his goals in the Premier League, we'd be in a lot worse trouble than we are now. It's a great, well taken goal, but like you said, Ben, that right-hand side at the moment is a very easy target zone for the opposition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that's kind of puzzling me, Daigle, and I want your 2 cents on it. Against City, we go up there, and from the start of the game, from the whistle, we look like we're on fire. We look like we're first to second balls, our passing is crisp, we're moving it quickly, and we go out, we get the victory. Against Ipswich, it's exactly the opposite. We're slow, we're second to second balls, it's just not quick enough, the passing isn't crisp enough, we're misplacing passes. And then again, here against Fulham, I see us drop our levels down from the City game all the way down. We could barely string passes together in that first half. And I don't know where it's coming from. And Ben saying that we can't put it on the Thursday, Sunday thing anymore because, you know, we do have a squad there that we should be utilising. What exactly is it? What is going on that we can't rise to the kind of smaller or lesser teams, even though we just can't seem to get points off them?
Well, Amir, brother, you asked for my 2 cents. As it's you, I'll give you my $5 worth.
So generous, bro.
Mate, I'm trying my best. What I will say is, and I said this against Palace, I said this against Ipswich, I said this against Brighton. When the big teams are up and we're playing well, these players are everywhere, running around. They want the ball. They're making the runs. As soon as a team comes to fight, we don't know what to do. We do not know what to do. We're so static in our movement. The tempo, like you said, goes down a notch or two. There's just, again, they just think they can get the job done because it's a lesser team. And they listen, you know for a fact when we play Chelsea next week, no matter what the result is, they will be running around like blue-ass flies. They'll want the ball. The crowd will obviously be much higher, and they'll be a lot more vocal, or you'd hope so. And they're all want a piece of the action. But the second a team comes to fight, right? If the team comes to fight and be determined, rather than play open football and try and play our kind of football where it's back and forth, then we don't know what to do. We do not know how to break these teams down, and we paid for it again, sir. Every single time the smaller teams come, or we go to the smaller teams, we just think we can do it. We just drop our tempo, and it keeps happening time after time. The way Gary O'Neill said it last year, this is the way you beat Spurs, do this, and this, and it obviously a lot of teams found that blueprint successful. Now you just got to come and give a bit of fight. If you fight, stand your ground, and are disciplined, we don't know what to do. We can't break it down.
Yeah, it felt like we were lucky to get out of that with a draw because Fulham were by far the better team today, weren't they?
Mate, not only that, what the hell it won't be was like absolutely on fire this game.
He's been doing that all season, mate. He's been brilliant all season.
He has been. I mean, the one saving grace, thank God. I was dreading when I first heard the lineup. I was like, please don't have Traore on the pitch, because with our high line, he'll absolutely crucify us. Whether he'll finish or anything, that's a different story. But thankfully, he didn't come on. But yeah, listen, they're a very well drilled team, Fulham, and they played very, very well. I will say the red card was a 1 billion% a red card. That was a disgusting challenge. But yeah, Fulham, to their credit, knew what to do. They had a game plan. It worked. And you know what, Ben, when we spoke after the Roma game, I said that we almost had 3 points. We left with 1, but technically we could have had 0. Well, today I think we were lucky to get a point, and we should have had 0.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But, you know, everyone's bemoaning the fact of the injuries and the Thursday, Sunday is really holding us back and everything like that. But you look at before this week, you know, the RZ game, after we lost, I think, to Crystal Palace after RZ. We rested a lot of players against RZ Alkmaar.
Yeah.
We played a lot of kids that game against Galatasaray. After Galatasaray, we lost to Ipswich. We rested a lot of players in Galatasaray, and then we lost to Ipswich. I think this is probably, this game in terms of Thursday, Sunday, is the only game where we actually went strong in Europe and then come away with a draw in this game. So there is a bit to it, but like, how do we maneuver ourselves around this period now? I asked you this at the end of the Roma game, and now this has happened. How do we maneuver ourselves? Because second half against Roma and this game today, we just look so out on our feet. We look so leggy.
We do. I mean, if you look at it as well, we don't know the extent of Archie's injury, but it looks like he could be out for that. Didn't look like he's definitely in some agony. It could be just a knock, could be some bruising, or it could be something more. That's another person off the bench out. Benson Core can't play for obvious reasons. We're putting a lot of pressure on Bissouma, Sarr and Maddison right now. There's not really replacements for them to come in and step in, or Kulusevski, obviously. Solanke, I mean, up front, we're just so... The one thing I will say about Ange right now, and obviously I'm still 100% Ange in, he said at the start of the season, I'm delighted with our trial, or we're happy with the transfer business. We've got the good squad. Well, we clearly haven't, have we?
No.
We clearly haven't. He came out and said this week, yeah, well, we're not blessed with a big squad. But it's like, well, hold on, Ange. A few months ago, you were saying that you're really happy with the squad and everything, and now it's like I said, we don't have a big enough. We've got the squad, but it's not of enough quality, and you get a lot of injuries, and you get found out. And we've got to be now. How do you like said, Ben? We've got Man U for me is the biggest game in this month, without a doubt, by a country mile.
Yeah.
Does he focus all around that and think, right, how do I manoeuvre myself around that game being obviously, if I was to manage it, he might not have it like me, but does he focus on that game and get into a semi-final? Is right, I need to have players X, Y, and Z definitely available there. Does he say Chelsea? Does he say Europa League? The games are coming thick and fast. The teams are coming thick and fast. And let's forget, Bournemouth are playing some wonderful football.
Yep.
Wonderful football. They look really good yesterday. All right, it was against Bournemouth, but we know what they've done at home. I just hope I think Dominic Solanke's been rested so he can score a hat-trick on his own ground. But we're going to have to manoeuvre our way around this. But the options are getting thinner and thinner, aren't they?
Yeah,
they are indeed, Daigle. And for me, we were having this conversation just before off camera about the squad and about the players that we brought in during the summer window and where we need to be. We're kind of down to bare bones. If you look at it now, Lankshire's our only fit striker if Solanke's still, out with this virus. Where do we go in January with that window coming up? It's only a month away now. Are we in the position where we have to go out there and strengthen?
Well, you look at it, Amir. I mean, I did the update with Ben yesterday when we were talking about wingers. Sonny didn't have his best game in the middle, did he? He was non-existent, and whether it was we couldn't get the service to him or whatever, he needs to go back on the left, but we can't keep playing him on the left because obviously we've got to manage his minutes. It's like Odebear's not coming back. We don't know when Mikey Moore's coming back. There's Timo Werner. We don't know if Timo Werner's loan is being cut short or if that's just rumours. So as much as I want to go left, we need to look at the front line as well. And like I said, if Richarlison comes back, how long does he stay fit for? We need to do some business in January. We really do. It's whether we do. I hope we do. I doubt we do. But we're going to have to see. But I think we're going to have to dip in because where are we now? 7th or 8th?
7th.
7th. Yeah, we're going to need it. I feel we're going to have to dip into the market. It's just whether we can find the right player at the right place. But the team is, like you said to me, brother, it's bare bones. It's bare bones, and we cannot continue like this.
Yeah, and I was saying last week, a couple of weeks ago, after the loss to Ipswich, how frustrating it was, and Sim was saying the gap's still only 3 points to the top two, but it's going to keep growing and growing and growing until we find a solution. And do you think we will find a solution in this December period? Because, like we keep saying, games are coming thick and fast, and I just can't see a solution.
I at the moment I can't. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head how long it is till certain players are back in action.
Well,
when
Romero
does Benson
should be
cause
back.
bad?
Bentancur comes back Boxing Day.
6 games, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so still a good fair few games. We're going to have to find over. Like you said, Ben, the gap may be close, but it's widening and widening. And when you see people like Chelsea getting a very good win, Manchester United now, I think they won 3-0, 4-0 United. They'll start getting results together. You know for a fact United will probably go for it in January. With the new manager wanting to get in some players of his own. And now we're going to have to wait and see. But the games are coming thick and fast. We're getting very, very light on first-team players. Obviously, we're having to put kids on the bench again. We've got to either get these players back or really say, right, and what do you need? What do you want? Let's get this in for you and try and salvage the league position at least. I mean, I think we can still get to Wembley in the Carabao Cup. We're still in the Europa League, FA Cup to come. But if this team, if the club want to finish as high as they can in the league, they need to go heavy in January.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's just like from now, because like this is like one of the most important periods of the season from now until January the 1st. And I just can't see a way where we get consistent results.
Exactly, and you look at it, the other teams around us.
Brian, we're a point above Manchester United. They've probably had their worst start ever in a Premier League campaign, and they've sacked their manager, who was one of the worst managers that they've seen in terms of win to loss, whatever it may be. So, I mean, they're only going to get better, and hopefully over the course of the season we'll get better. But you know, by the end of December they could be like 6-9 points above us.
They could listen. They could be. It could work the other way around as well. We could have a miraculous December. But these teams around us have got the squads, and they are rotating, aren't they? You watch the other games. Other clubs around us, they are rotating. Maybe because they got a fitter squad and are able to do so, but they are doing it. And I think, like you said, how we started, I think Porro needs a rest. Porro, we need to keep our star players as fresh as available. And Porro is one of them on his day, but he just looks a little bit off it. But there is a player there to help him and support him, but we're just not giving Spence a chance.
Yeah, and I don't get that. I just don't get that whatsoever. Spence surely has to play Thursday night, surely.
You would hope so. You would hope that he at least starts getting minutes. You know what? I don't even care if he doesn't start. But when Porro, you can clearly see for a few games now, he's been taken on way too much. His positioning's been a little bit off. You got to say, right, I need to make a change. I have a right back on the bench who can also be attack-minded, who also can get forward. Porro needs a rest. Remember that saying, Ben, that I always say, these players at this football club are overplayed and undervalued because we just run them ragged. When there's clear replacements that can assist them, keep them fresher, keep them fitter. Look what Poch did with the fullbacks when he had Davies and Rose and Walker and Trippier. He rotated them a hell of a lot because he knew how vital they were to his setup. Well, we know how important these fullbacks are to Postecoglou's setup, but he's just non-stop playing, and it's going to catch.
I don't. Why are they so tired though at this stage of the season? We're 13 games in. It's not like we're halfway through a season or 3/4 of the way through the season where they've had so much football in their legs. They don't. We're 13 games into a season. And not only that, you're looking at Pedro Porro. We just had an international break. He barely played for Spain. He played one game out of the two. You're looking at Destiny Udogie. He came off the bench twice for Italy and had about 20 minutes in his legs as a whole. You know, these players are not exactly getting overplayed at the moment.
No, they're not. But again, Ben, you look at it last season when we only played one game a week and they were struggling.
So is it the style of play? Is it down to Angela?
You've got to think at one point. But do you know what? You look at this. When Pochettino was there, obviously we did the double training sessions. And they said, this is full. When we get to this part of the season, you'll feel it, you'll have the energy. And it clearly showed. Obviously, I don't know if we're doing double training sessions or whatever it may be. But you've got to start thinking it may have something to do with it. I'm not going to put it totally on Ange, but we do play non-stop. We're running non-stop. But it's mad to say what I'm about to say. We run non-stop, but today there's hardly any movement.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. We all the running stats say that we're doing covering all this all this ground and everything. But when you look at it, it's like, where is the movement for players on the ball? Where's that part? So many times when we had the ball, you look left and there's just no one there, or to the right, and we either pass it sideways, backwards. I still have my faith in Ange. I still want it, but he needs to be backed in January. And one thing I would, like we said, with Ange, he needs to start using the squad. He does need to use it, because if not, we're just going to get more injuries, and then we're even more trouble.
But who can we even use on Thursday night that didn't play today? Because Spence, you think Spence is one of the ones. Kulusevski starts on Thursday. Solanke hopefully is back.
Yeah.
So that's 3 players. Apart from that, our bench today was Gray, who went off injured, Bergwall, Will Lancashire, Brandon Austin, Reguilon, Oluseyi, and Williams Barnett.
I mean, that's where, I mean, like you said, hopefully Romero. Although, again, I don't think Romero walks in. I wouldn't break up Dragusin and Davies, because I think in the last few games they've been like the foundation, so to speak, to build on. The midfield, we've got issues, haven't we? We're down to bare bones. That bench isn't acceptable. I don't know if we can recall Alfie Devine, and everyone knows who watches this channel on YouTube, especially my love affair with Alfie Devine. I'd have him back. We'll have to see what happens, don't we? But we've just got to get through these next few games, hopefully injury-free, or no new injury training or game time, and see where we are January.
Maybe we can call back Josh Keeley and stick him up front. He's got a knack for scoring
There you
goals
go.
now,
Smart man. There you go. There you go.
Did you see that goal?
Oh, mate.
Yesterday?
What a goal.
I did, mate. But I tell you what a knee slide. What a knee slide that was. Bloody hell, the stuff dreams are made of, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
We might need Manor Solomon back from Leeds. He's
Manor as well.
Form up there.
Yeah.
Good time.
Jane Scarlett as well. He seems to be finding the back of the net for Oxford. You know, we've got a lot of players out on loan that are actually doing really well.
They're doing really well. Are they Premiership ready? Who knows? Alfie Devine, as you know, I'd have him in the team. And see, but listen, we got obviously the Korean. I cannot remember his name, but he's coming in a matter of weeks. Yamin Justin. Who knows if he starts? We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we, Ben? We'll see what happens with him.
January anyway.
Oh, there you go. But I'm saying, come January, what do we do? I mean, all these players we're saying they are a part of Spurs' future.
Yeah.
But are the club going to back the manager and bring in players for the now, or are they going to recall the ones? Even Ashley Phillips. Will they say bring him back, and the ones that are meant to be for the future will be for the now? Only time will tell.
Exactly, Brian. Thank you so much for coming on today, my friend.
Always a pleasure, brothers. I'll speak to you later.